Life in medieval times spanned from the 5th century to the 15th century, and it was a time of significant political, social, and cultural change. The medieval period was characterized by a feudal society where social and economic structures were based on the ownership of land. In this essay, we will explore various aspects of medieval life. Social structure. The social structure of medieval society was organized into a hierarchical system where people were divided into classes based on their occupation and wealth. At the top of the hierarchy were the nobility, followed by the clergy, and then the peasants. The nobility was comprised of kings, queens, princes, and lords who owned vast estates. The clergy included religious figures such as bishops, monks, and priests, who were responsible for maintaining the church and religious practices. The peasants, who made up the majority of the population, were divided into two categories, serfs and free peasants. The serfs were bound to the land and were obligated to work for their lord in exchange for protection and a portion of the crops they produced. The free peasants, on the other hand, were not bound to the land but were required to pay rent to their lord and perform other duties, such as serving in the lord's army during times of war. Economy. The medieval economy was primarily based on agriculture. The vast majority of the population worked on the land either as peasants or as labourers on the estates of the nobility. The land was owned by the nobility and was typically divided into manors, each of which was overseen by a lord or lady. The lord or lady was responsible for ensuring that the land was cultivated and that the crops were harvested. In addition to agriculture, the medieval economy also included trade and commerce. Towns and cities emerged as centers of trade and commerce, and merchants played a vital role in the economy. Trade was often conducted through fairs and markets, which were held periodically in various towns throughout the year. Education. Education during the medieval period was primarily provided by the church. The church was responsible for establishing and maintaining schools, which were attended by boys who were destined for the clergy. The curriculum included reading, writing, arithmetic, and Latin. In addition to the church schools, there were also schools run by private tutors. These schools were attended by the children of the nobility and were focused on training them in the skills necessary to manage their estates. Religion. Religion played a significant role in medieval life. Christianity was the dominant religion, and the church played an essential role in the lives of the people. The church was responsible for providing spiritual guidance, administering sacraments, and maintaining religious practices. The church also played a significant role in the governance of medieval society. Bishops and other religious leaders often served as advisors to kings and lords and played a vital role in shaping the political landscape. Art and architecture. The art and architecture of medieval times were characterized by a style known as Gothic. Gothic architecture was characterized by high ceilings, pointed arches, and flying buttresses, which allowed for the construction of massive, towering structures such as cathedrals. Gothic art was also characterized by intricate, detailed designs, which were often used to depict religious scenes. Illuminated manuscripts, which were handwritten books decorated with intricate designs, were also popular during this time. Warfare. Warfare was a constant feature of medieval life. Kings and lords were constantly engaged in battles to protect their lands and expand their territories. The feudal system provided the nobility with armies of knights, who were trained in the use of weapons and were sworn to serve their lords in times of war. The most significant military conflict of the medieval period was the 100 Years' War, which was fought between England and France. The war lasted from where you left off, from the 14th century to the mid-15th century, and was characterized by a series of battles and truces. The conflict had a significant impact on both countries, and it helped to shape the political and social landscape of Europe. Health and medicine. Health and medicine during the medieval period were often primitive and rudimentary. Diseases such as the Black Death, which swept through Europe in the 14th century, claimed the lives of millions of people. Medical treatments were often based on superstition and folklore, and many people turned to healers and folk remedies to treat their illnesses. Despite the limitations of medieval medicine, there were some advancements during this period. Medical schools were established in various parts of Europe, and physicians began to study human anatomy and develop new treatments for various ailments. Conclusion. In conclusion, life in medieval times was characterized by a feudal society, where social and economic structures were based on the ownership of land. The social structure was organized into a hierarchical system where people were divided into classes based on their occupation and wealth. The economy was primarily based on agriculture, but trade and commerce also played an essential role. Religion played a significant role in medieval life, and the church was responsible for providing spiritual guidance, administering sacraments, and maintaining religious practices. The art and architecture of the period were characterized by a Gothic style, and warfare was a constant feature of medieval life. Although health and medicine were often primitive during the medieval period, there were some advancements during this time. Medical schools were established, and physicians began to study human anatomy and develop new treatments for various ailments. Overall, life in medieval times was characterized by significant political, social, and cultural change, and it had a profound impact on the development of Europe and the Western world.
For more videos like this, subscribe to Past Pioneers. Thanks for watching.